Hello, folks. Welcome back to Bald and Board Games. I'm Bald.
I'm bored.
We're going to review Unconscious Mind by Fantasia
and Lucky Duck. Yes, so if you've seen our playthrough, we played the game with two of our friends. We played it with the Nightmares expansion.
We did.
We've also played off-stream with just the base version.
We have.
To give you the best idea of how the game plays, we're going to give you a review of the base game with some of the modules, but then we'll talk about the Nightmare expansion separately at the end of this video.
Yes, and if this is your first review of ours as you're watching, we do our reviews a little differently than most reviewers do. So we're going to rate this over different categories individually. So we're going to rate it over the storage, the rulebook, the design of the game, which encompasses the iconography components, that sort of thing. Not the gameplay design. That comes in with gameplay, which is our last category. And they are weighted. You can see the weights on those at the end of the video on the final scorecard, but we'll tell you that gameplay has the majority, or not the majority, has the highest weight of the grouping. So we're going to discuss each topic, and at the end of the discussion, I'll give a rating, Board will give a rating, and we'll do that for each of the areas. And at the end, we're going to get the average of our individual ratings, get the Bald and Board Games final rating, and the final note is we do round down. If you do not make it to the next half or whole, you go down to the lower half or whole.
Yeah, and for those who've seen previous review videos, usually, as Nick said, I'll give a whole discussion about, let's say, storage, and then I'll give my score, and then Nick will give his discussion, give his score. So at this point, we're going to kind of just talk it through. It's a little bit more reactive for you, so you can like hear point by point on the different topics.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we'll say rulebook. I'll say my score. It'll pop up on the screen. He'll have his score. It'll also be on the same screen, and we'll see both of them. At the end, it'll show the combined between both of us.
Yeah, it'll be more of a discussion now. It's probably a little more interesting for you than the way you typically would do it. Less, I'm not going to reiterate what he said.
More combative now.
Yes. All right.
So first off is a storage. So the base game box is here.
All right. So yeah, this is the storage. So there are good and bad in this box. So the good, this thing. That's it. The bad. Everything else, it is, you know, what we typically hate about storage, which is a bunch of things in bags thrown into a box.
No discussion needed here. I agree.
It's literally just straight up that. There's literally nothing else. It fits all in there, but just have to take a minute to rearrange everything.
Yes. The most annoying part is, so this I agree 100%. Great. It gives each player its own little section. So perfect example, we're only playing 2 players. The other 2 can just stay in there. We love that.
Yeah.
The more annoying thing is, with all these bags, you have to take out everything from every bag to set up the game.
Yeah.
Because some of these tiles you only need a certain amount of, so you still have to take them all out, shuffle, and put them out. And it's way easier if there's a bunch of wells and you can just grab random ones out of the well. Exactly.
And the deluxe version has that, but I don't know why the base version wouldn't have that also for this. Because the deluxe version has like stuff for every single expansion that goes in the one box.
Yeah.
So it's like, so clearly you thought of storage for the base game as well. So, and it's about the same size. So why would you not put that in here? So that was super annoying to me. All right. So my score for storage is a 2 out of 5.
Still my score.
My
score for storage is also a 2.
So you can have the same score.
But yeah, so if this wasn't the case, where this held everything nicely, it'd be way lower.
Yeah.
But yes, this is not the most beneficial way to store a box. Store a game.
Store a box. Alrighty. So next up, everyone, we have the rulebook, which encompasses the rulebook as well as the player rates.
Yes, we love player rates.
We do.
So rulebook overall, it's your standard rulebook. Goes through setup and everything. Goes through all of the steps. Goes through the game overview. So standard rulebook.
Yep.
My first point here is I love how everything is set up with specific sections.
Mm-hmm.
So for setup specifically, you have a picture. Here's what the whole end setup is supposed to look like.
Yep.
It goes through lettered sections saying, oh, here is Klein and Dream display. Explains what it is. Then goes through everything and shows you exactly what it means, what you need to do, where it goes with little graphics, all the way through player setup, and gives you a perfect layout. So we set this game up once. The second time, I'm like, boom, 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 done. We already knew what we were doing.
Yeah, it was easy. What I also like about these sections as well is that they're color-coded.
Yeah.
So setup is specifically purple. Then you come over here and you have the green for the cards, you have the red for the player setup. So when you're going to refer back to a specific setup section, it's there's like a subconscious thing that goes on to where you just kind of know exactly what spot you're at. You're not going to mix it up with one or the other. Something that's a through line throughout this as well is just the diagrams in general. Like there are constant diagrams and examples to explain how things work. Again, to keep things from being, I think, overly wordy. Like a lot of things they try to overly explain without using the pictures. But like this here, they got it like very simple to the point because they had pictures to go along with it, which is great.
Yeah, and then one of my favorite things.
The modules?
No. I was going to the back of the book because that's the easiest way to do it. Where is the section? Right here. Location goal tiles. So you can earn like not end game scoring. You can earn reputation points middle of the game as soon as the first person does it. Towards the back of the rulebook, modules on the very back, which is fine. Nice section, nice table format. Has a picture. So boom, this picture right there, very quick and easy. This is exactly what you need.
Yep.
We've seen other books where either the picture's not there and it's just a bunch of words,
yep,
or it's super wordy. This is straight to the point. Here's the picture, here's 4 words that explain it, and then all 4 words make perfect sense.
Yep. I think the last thing that I want to call out are the color-coded boxes that you have throughout here again. So you have these purple boxes, which are all tips saying, hey, we recommend doing this. So for instance, when you pick a draft, an initial tile, it says, hey, we recommend you put this tile in the section that matches its resource, because that way you can always use the tile. Makes sense. For the greens, they're usually like examples or going a little bit further into what the actual action is, that one layer deeper. So in case you do need that upon the initial reading, you have that. Or if like, okay, I know what the action is, but what was that extra thing? You can go right to the box for that. The blues are the examples where they're actually going through how to do things. And there's one last one, which are the reds saying, hey, important, don't mess this up because people during our play test kept messing this up. It doesn't say that, but that's what that means. It means, hey, important, don't do this. This is not what we mean when we say this,
Yeah.
which I think that is magnificent, because oftentimes rule books can be ambiguous in areas, or even if they're not, people can interpret things in a weird way. So to have that little section that says, hey, don't interpret it this way.
Yeah.
Was great.
Yeah. And then obviously we have the 2 player aids.
Yep.
Player aids to me are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
One, I love the Excel table style of the alternating colors.
Yeah.
So you have
easy to know which line you're on.
Yes, you can easily see what line you're on. We have one that goes over these cards. So you have your client cards. One side goes over the routine, one side goes over the case study and tells you, oh, end game scoring, this is what it is. Mid game effects and abilities, this is what it is. Gives a fun name to them. And then just the general iconography is so clear already, but this just enhances it. So you just have this little player aid that goes over, boom, here's what all of the stuff it means. And you can easily just reference it as you're looking at actions and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about those player aids specifically, but I will consider this a partial player aid, which is right here on one of your components that tells you what you can do on your turn.
Sure, that works. Okay.
Yeah, you see it fine?
It's just all the color schemes on top. So
go to the center.
Oh, there we go.
So that right there,
there you go,
shows you at the very top right here those 3 main things you can do during your turn. So I would consider that a player aid. It's just on a piece from the board. Also magnificent. Instead of trying to shove it onto those 2 pages.
Yeah. So for rulebook, my rulebook score here is a perfect 5 out of 5. It's one of the better ones we've seen, probably in 2026. It's great.
Yeah, they definitely work some magic in getting a game that has a lot going on condensed down to this very short, easy to get through rulebook for learning this very, what could be a complicated strategic, or is a strategic game, but could be a complicated game. So I also give it a 5 out of 5. Ah!
All right, now we're gonna vary in scores. Don't worry, and we didn't even discuss these beforehand. Design is next. So going over the iconography, going over the actual components, how they feel, what they're made out of, all of the things that make it interesting to look at.
Yes. Sorry, just getting that stuff rearranged here for us. Okay, where are we at on the board? Just
where do you want to start? Yeah, you pick a section.
Well, let's start. Man, just start with the full board for now. I'll talk about the general what things are made out of to start here.
Sure.
So we have a lot of punch board tiles here. These are punch boards as well. Anything that is a punch board is nice and sturdy. It's thick. These don't feel flimsy at all. Great material those are made out of. All the cards have a nice linen finish to them. So those are also a nice high quality card as well. You're not worried about those bending unnecessarily so or wearing down too easily. I always want to say lenticular, which is not the right word because that's the thing where like when you shift it shifts the pictures. Like these like transparent cards that have become really popular with things like Canvas and other games. I think these are a really fun way to add a lot of variety to the game. And they're easy to see through. Again, the material it's made out of is the typical material those are made out of. They don't feel overly flimsy at all whatsoever. The little wooden pieces are exactly that. I like that they're screen printed with a different design for each of the idea bubbles. That adds an extra way to identify what's what. The character pieces here as well, screen printed too. Very very fond of those too. Then scoring track pieces, same thing. Punch boards again here for these extra things we added on. The individual boards, I like that they split these up into 2 different boards. Just because that it allows you to be more flexible with the table layout.
Yeah.
Which we found ourselves needing to do last night. And then for the player boards, nice dual layer player boards. Everything sits inside of and has its spot, which is great, especially here where you're placing these down. I like that they have little notches, make sure they stay in their area and they don't slide all over the place. Same with these here. These stick in their spots very good.
Very well.
Yep. Actually, I think very good is correct as well as if you're like feeling well. And then you have this here, which again has, I think this is where Board's gonna have an issue because he doesn't know how to use both of his hands to move things, so he wants to like do it. But I think that was
just a table.
I think that was you can tape to the table like we did for Game of Thrones for you. But I think that this is a fun design thing. Again, doesn't feel flimsy at all. Some slight warping to these though, which could create the twisting problem. But yes, my first comments is just kind of on what they're made out of. So do you have comments on what the things are made out of?
Yeah, so pretty much agree. A lot of the punch board, like usually too much punch board's annoying because like, hey, you could have done this better. In this game, it works. A lot of the tiles, you're not shuffling. You shuffle before the game, you lay them out, they're just in a stack. So you're not worried about shuffling punch board tiles and dinging up the edges mid-game. The cards are good quality, very clear. We'll talk about the artwork in a moment.
Yeah.
I love the little individual pieces here. They're solid little minis, and they all look a little different too, which is fun. For the player board area, again, more punch boards, which works. I like how this like slots in too.
Yeah.
So it's just one almost unit. For this thing, it's fine. That's just me. So like moving this around knocks the cards around a little bit. That's just how I set it up on the table. For these see-through things, your nightmare cards, it is cool. Like you mentioned, Canvas is one that uses them. We have another game, I think, that uses something similar to this. Actually, Odalin will be using something similar to this when we get that on the table. In terms of how it's made, fully enjoy it. No issues with how any of the components are made. We're talking about getting the deluxe version, which will increase some of them.
Yep.
But for the base version, like the fact that these ink pots are actual like ink pot looking things, they did a really good job at the base version, giving you solid components still. So my first point will be on. We're gonna go here. We'll start with these cards and the artwork on kind of all the cards here.
Yeah, we just do a general artwork.
Yeah, artwork here. If we're doing general artwork, I'll come to that as my last point then. Okay.
Yeah, nothing.
So general artwork. Game board here. Good. First thing I'll call out, iconography, fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah, some of the best.
Yeah, so the artwork, you have the artwork of the individual like areas, but the iconography of what actions are where, what's an or sign, what's an and sign is so clear. It is great across the board.
It's very intuitive.
Yes.
To where like I think the first time we played this, we were able to guess what things meant before actually figuring like double checking, and we were often right.
Yeah. For this board, I like how they're like, hey, this is a coffee shop or a coffee production company.
Mhm.
And they made little images for that as you're traveling around this little board that's almost like a
It's Austria.
little, yeah, Geneva or Vienna.
Yeah.
Vienna, Austria, not Geneva. Geneva, Switzerland. So I like this setup on this board. You have the good old VP track, or whatever they call it in this game, equivalent of VP, around the border. For that board down there, very cool background artwork. It's a table, and it's people sitting at a table.
Well, they're discussing ideas.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why I like it.
Okay, you're saying just people sitting around the table.
Sitting around the table, I was getting to the ideas part in a second.
Sorry.
So people sitting around the table, in the middle of the table is all the ideas they're discussing. So really cool setup, very clear. You have specific rectangular parchment-looking boxes or book boxes for all of the stuff. You have the tiles up top. Very nicely set up.
Yeah.
For artwork of your player board, you have your individual player and some background artwork. You'll have like a cat or a dog somewhere in this picture. Maybe this guy doesn't have one, but that one does. But you can have like there's a pet expansion that adds some context into this. Mm-hmm. For the artwork of the cards here in the middle, it was very interesting how they came up with it. So you have on the bottom almost like a cloud, like you're up in the clouds with your requirements. Again, very clearly stated. I love how they put it here and not on the picture.
Yeah.
So it stands out very clearly what is required. Arrow, what you get. On the top, there's some little symbols that will play a part, and then a very vibrant image of what these dreams are. Even if you look at some of these, there's like 2 different types of dreams. Again, both of them very clear on what they are. So really well done on the artwork. The only problem I have with artwork are these little things, slightly, is they embedded your rewards on the image almost. Instead of just having it like on white space, because all of these pretty much in the bottom corner, bottom left here, have empty space. They embedded it on the image, so depending on what the image is, some of these can kind of blend in a little bit, especially as it's sitting on top of another card. So as you're looking at it, you kind of got to like, for me, I had to like squint or be like, looking at it sideways to be like, okay, what is exactly that saying that I'm getting? But that's just me and my eyesight. Probably.
No, I have a similar comment, not on those though, which is hilarious. Where do you want? So we'll be over here still. So with all the cards. Yeah. So in general, I agree with all the artwork everywhere else. It's superb. The iconography is intuitive, like I said. It's great. I love the design of the ideas, research papers that you end up putting together. Which is cool. Yeah, my issue is not with the transparent cards and seeing those. Like I saw those just fine. It was actually trying to see these icons at times, like this one here, where it's like the white on the blue, with the other white. Like that's where it could be hard to see, and they kind of faded.
I just never had an icon
into the background. Yeah, and so that's where I found myself like trying to like, okay, is that? And I'd like pick it up to actually really look close at it, or I just completely missed it, chose a different card, and like, oh well, shit. So that's my one issue that I have there with the design. What I like about these stacking cards is they actually form one large cloud when you stack them perfectly like that, which is just a very fun visual thing for myself. But the artwork in these is just so varied, and it's very Mysterium style, like surrealism artwork throughout all these cards, which just makes it fun to look at. Like the actual artwork means nothing for what the card is itself. It's just fun. Have like a random, like, damn, this is like random ass dream this person is having. I do really like the abstract Rorschach test ink blots that are on these cards. I think that's really cool. I do like that this is just a comment on the Nightmare expansion, that they did change it up for that to make those different. Design wise, trying to think if there's anything else that I don't like. There's a lot that I do like. So one thing I'll mention on, which isn't artwork, it's actually, I forgot to mention it for the component structure. So I am not a fan that this is not dual layered as well. That bothers me. This is dual layered. That's dual layered. I know the deluxe version of this is dual layered, but it's like if you already have 2 things you're putting pieces onto, they're dual layered, just don't cop out. Make this dual layered also. It's just one little annoying like thing that I had, which doesn't affect gameplay at all. It's just the inconsistency that bugged me throughout the entire game. Little nitpick there, but
Yeah, that didn't really bother me. I do have one thing that I don't like, though, which is these. We'll bring this over here. So you have these little treaty cards. Let's move this off to the side for a second.
treatise.
Treatise. Yeah, what is it? Same thing.
No, treatment. It's not treaty.
Oh, it's not treatise, whatever.
Yeah.
George Washington has them in Hamilton. So you have these cards here. If you have 2 books of matching color, we got green and a purple. So if I had these 2 books, boom, they go, and you have to like align the books nicely, these 2 little pieces of paper. You have to lay this here perfectly like that. And then if Nick wants to take one, he has to take one of these out, and now it screws it all up, and you got to fix it again. I wish this had a dual layer slot. So this is what I wish was dual layer.
I would have done it on top even.
Or even on top, yeah. However it does, but I wish I had a slot where this slides in, and you can easily slide them in and out of where they're supposed to be without, every time you touch it, it's all over the place.
Yeah, I definitely, since they already have this one big, I would have made this just slightly bigger so it had a slight edge.
Yeah.
And then you can still have, like, then you can even just have it one big square.
Yeah.
Like one big, long rectangle there. You can still do this sort of thing because they wanted to show the symbols.
Yeah, and you're completing the book, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing I'm not a fan of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get that. I don't think I have anything else for design that I don't. I mean, I have like a nitpicky thing that I'm not going to really mark down, which is like for the heart-shaped box token, just making this an actual heart, like token that you're moving.
And it kind of says that in the book. It's like take the heart box.
What's your heart-shaped box token? Yeah. So this is the heart-shaped box, and that's the token. So, but again, that didn't impact my score because it's like a little nitpick thing that ultimately doesn't matter much at all. Same with like the dual layer board thing didn't impact the gameplay, so it didn't impact my score at all. It's just the nitpick thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah. I have one last thing, and that's it.
Go for it.
So my last thing for the design is, we're gonna push these slightly over so it's very clear. So for me as a player right now, I have player board. I have our insights board, we'll call it, where you're tracking your resources. Which also I wish again was dual layered, especially where you have these, where you have like the little slots. I wish there was like little raised edges here, like which is in the Nightmare expansion, which we'll get to that. But then it'd be easier to like keep track exactly where it's at, so it's not sliding.
Yeah.
I have this area here, which is my 2 clients and their dreams. If I had the pets expansion, you have over here a pet board, and then you have trees that you're getting completed. You have individuals you're completing.
A lot of table space.
It takes up to me way too much table space. We played with 4 players. We used this whole table. Mm-hmm. And I like how large these cards, and they have dreams and everything. I wish these cards were probably a little bit smaller, normal size as these. I don't know why. I don't think they had to be at this big. It could have been this size card. Or at least something to make this a little bit more condensed.
I mean, those could have honestly been the size of the research cards.
They could have, yeah. They could have been way smaller.
And then you just put them sideways like this instead.
Yeah.
1, 2.
But yeah, I wish it shrunk down how much space you're having. Because especially with these cards, you can't just throw them off in a pile. You have to stack them because some of these have mid-game benefits. So you need to be able to see, and you can stack them, obviously, one on top of the other like this.
So we ended up shoving them, I think we all did this.
Under the board.
Under the board on the bottom.
Yeah, but the rulebook says kind of put them in a pile off the side. So we just put them under the board just to be able to see this part. But yes, that's part of, for me, design and everything is way too much table space per player. On top of, if we go zoom way out, all of this board space, and all of these, all of the card market, resources will be sitting off to the side as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think there could have been a little bit more innovation. Like the insight board is very innovative in itself, but I feel like they could have gone a step further to make this smaller in some way. Like there's no reason for it to be this big. You're never going to have this whole thing filled with insight around the outside.
A max of 13 in the base game, a max of, let's just say 15 in the Nightmares expansion. That would be potentially on the board. Like even if you're taking some of these off anyway to do things.
Well, even like this center section isn't even needed. Like you could have had a section over here for all your unlocked insights, like you have for your ideas on your board, where they sit there, and you know, okay, you know you can't raise, like you can't do a raise and bring it out. You have to literally just gain one. So you can just take them there from the board. So I would get rid of this extra space, which condenses it down, and then you could go even further and make this much smaller. So this maybe just sat up in the corner of your board here the entire time in some way.
You almost could have had it where And I like the circle idea. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
you almost
I was thinking a circle, but I mean, like,
I know.
small.
I was thinking also you could just have it as like 3 tracks, or like different color tracks.
It gets harder to explain the transferring from side thing.
I was thinking like a number track. So like you'd have green 1, 2, 3 like as one little thing, and like you'd have you have 3 of green 1. Okay, now I have 2 when I go up. I guess it would be a little bit more difficult to explain.
Yeah,
it would probably take up just as much space.
That's why they chose a circle, I think. 'Cause I thought about that too. Specifically because you can move these.
Oh, that's true. Change
left
to
or right. It'd be hard to explain.
Yeah,
like
decrease this, increase that.
All the way over here. Yeah.
But all right.
Cool.
This is your section.
It don't matter.
Yeah,
all right.
It does matter. How it pops up on the screen.
Alrighty. So for design, I give it a 4.5 out of 5. The notch that got knocked off was purely for some of the readability issues that ended up on the cards, which ends up being very important because that's really how you get heart-shaped boxes, which can really turn the tides of a game.
Yeah, so for my design score, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Similar point, I have the readability issue with the transparent thing, where when you're drafting them as a new client, you really want to know what benefits you're going to get as you get rid of that grief layer. Also, with a few of the other things, especially table space, I considered a little drop. So 4 out of 5.
Nice. All right. Yeah, the comment on the table space, I didn't knock it for that because it seems like a lot of games that are Euro style now tend to take up. Like, there's Civolution, where Civolution's player boards are this long per person. Insane.
I just feel like Vital has done a really good job. They huge Euro games, but the table, it's not that, like the boards take up the full table, but like the player boards are kind of more condensed. Like they figured it out how to like keep everything a little bit smaller.
What he's done is he's managed, what he does, it seems like, is he keeps the main board and the player boards at 3 feet. Because with Speakeasy, the main board in the middle, you push the player board literally right up against it, and it was at the edge of our table.
Yeah.
And so even that one takes up a bunch.
I don't think we took up this much space.
It took the same floor plan because we have.
Oh, it took floor plan. I mean the player space.
No, the player space.
This is what about it because I was like,
you're correct.
This is taking 2 feet by 2 feet almost, or 1.5 foot by 1.5 foot, we'll say.
Yeah, this
of space.
It's their own entire like player board set. You almost have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 player boards.
Yeah,
like, I get that. All right, so we're on to gameplay now. So I'll do a quick overview of how the game plays, very, very quick, not doing every single rule, just kind of a general idea of what's going on, and then we'll go over our likes and dislikes.
All right, so the overview of the game is you are trying to help people cure their dreams or handle their dreams via therapy. So you have this main game board here. You're going to be tracking reputation.
That's not at all.
What do you mean? You're trying to help them handle their dreams.
No, you're trying to help them handle their trauma. The Freudian method is to analyze their dreams.
Sure. Whatever. I don't do therapy.
It's unconscious mind.
Yeah.
We literally read the story at the end of the book.
I haven't listened.
That was nice. They gave me in front of the rule book the history of Freud and everything.
Yes.
Anyway.
So you are gaining reputation as well as moving Freud's track. So Freud's always in front of you. As soon as he gets this clock symbol, that'll trigger endgame. The way you do that is by claiming different locations here, by collecting those icons. On the board down here, you're going to be presenting ideas and discussing ideas. That is your action basis. Doing things to gain resources, to gain cards, to move around, to spend a resource to gain the tiles. And you're going to be applying them to your board to be able to get more things and combo, as well as working on your clients. So it's called specifically transfer client. No, what's the client word? Treat. There we go.
Transfer client.
Transfer.
Get out of here.
So you're trying to treat your clients by removing the grief layer and utilize these cards. So it's really a game of worker placement combined with resource management, with massive comboing abilities to get everything done, and then whoever has the most VP will be the winner.
More action selection, because worker placement in...
so yes, that's true.
Because there's no different type of work.
That's true.
Yeah.
So action selection paired with resource management.
Yeah.
So that is the overview of the game. Again, this is the base game. We'll talk about the expansion shortly. There is a lot going on, as you can see from this table. So my first comment about gameplay is going to be, although there's a lot going on visually, it's very easy to hop in and figure it out. one, as we talked about design, the iconography is so well done.
Yep.
But going specifically, I'll start with this board down here, is for the action selection, seeing it and planning ahead, what to me was one of my biggest benefits, is you're seeing where you're putting things down, so you know, hey, I know what tiles are here. That spot's open. I'm going to go and grab some of these tiles, because I know I want a heart-shaped box. So I can grab either of these, and then in a future turn, get the heart-shaped box. Or if I grab this one, I can get it instantly if I have the resource available, which this gives you. So I love this action selection set down here, where you can plan ahead, but also the fun aspect is Nick can see that I'm planning ahead, and let's just say I was here, and he's like, oh, or someone else was here. Let's say I'm trying to go here. He's like, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm going to go here and prevent you from doing that one. So, yeah. So there is that fun aspect, a little bit of like hate drafting or just taking something earlier than you wanted to prevent someone else from grabbing it.
Yeah, so I like on here that you can do kind of like what I've shown here. So you can do one of two things. You can put one piece down, you can put 2 ideas down and do the action twice, or you can use a bright idea paired with an idea token to, again, do the action twice. So I like that there's that versatility in how many times you can do that. I like the restriction that you can't do the same action in one, series of turns before you recall. So that means you really have to choose, am I going to do this twice right now? Because I might need to do it twice later. Do I wait to do it later until I can do it twice? Yeah. Like, that's a fun puzzle that you kind of have to solve yourself, also based on where people are placing their items as well. So yeah, I really like the action selection area over here. I like that based on where you put your pieces, like you ever put in the top row to do this action, I'll be moving my ink blot on my board 1 space, which activates a bunch of stuff, comboing. Whereas if instead I chose to put it in the middle section down here, still pointing up here, I'm on that line, which means I'm going to be moving this 2 spaces to go over here. So I like that there's also that variety where you're not only just planning the action to get the items you need to do whatever else going forward, you're also trying to pair that planning with what's on your board based on where your ink is going to go. And then there's ways to use bright ideas to move your ink more or fewer times. So big brain combo stuff, which is a lot of fun. It definitely takes a moment, I think, for newer players to get past the paralysis by analysis situation. I always say it backwards.
Well, you are sleep paralysis.
Yeah, paralysis by analysis.
Analysis by sleep
paralysis. Or analysis paralysis is what I'm trying to say. So it takes a minute for people to get past that. But once you get through like your first 2 kind of go around turns, you start to realize like, oh, okay, this is how this works. And you try to start to figure out a combo to push forward.
Yeah. One other thing I'm going to comment on that board is, so recalling is another action. So you place them down, and then you can recall them and do this sleep action. So I'll give you a quick example, which is what I love about this, is let's say I have 3 coffee. I go here. Boom. That allows me to get a tile. So I grab this tile. Cool. Come to my player board. I put the tile down. I get whatever benefits are on it. I unlock this little marker. So now I have a new marker. So I have a bunch of stuff I can do here as this moves around, which is great. So I would move 1. I can spend a bright idea to move 2 and do this whole row. That's awesome. But now we fast forward 1 turn. I'm like, cool, recall. I recall this token. I get 1 coffee back that I just spent. And now I get to do a sleep thing on the main board. So because I unlocked this marker, I can go over to the main board here and now activate one of these, which will help me with endgame scoring.
Yep.
So you can plan it where you don't need to put all of your tiles down or your ideas. You can put 1 down, get that last thing to complete a row to get a special insight token, and then boom, go claim one of these, as long as you have the requirements to do so.
Yep.
So I really like that, where even if someone else kind of screws you over a little bit and does something you wanted to do or takes a tile you wanted to take, you still have plenty of other options available.
Yeah, there's tons of options. So then if we continue ripping on the recall action, I like how when you recall, it's not just, oh, take your pieces back and get coffee. Like a lot of games, it's purely take all your pieces back, get resources based on where they were. And that's all you're doing. Here it's, hey, take your pieces back, and then based on where you're at or where Freud is at, you can do one of these for endgame scoring stuff, or you can do one of these to get yourself an immediate benefit. So if board happened to take a spot on here that I wanted, instead of trying to force myself to do another like location action on the main meeting table, I can say, you know what? I see where my people are. Instead, I'm just going to call my people back, and I'm going to claim the heart-shaped box that I wanted to get beforehand anyway. So now I was able to do the recalls, have pieces available, get coffee, and get the heart-shaped box that I wanted regardless. So you can always have somewhat of a backup plan if you put yourself in the right position. Kind of building up what you were saying there. So recall and meeting table are phenomenal. Absolutely. All right. So now I think my favorite part of gameplay is the whole concept behind the treaties. So I know there's obviously the issue design-wise and how to like tuck the cards and whatever.
That's everything.
But I like that in the game, you're collecting your individual cards, right? So when you collect them, they're in your hand, and then you have to put them down to get the benefit to be able to use them, right? You have to write your paper.
Yeah, that's what you need yesterday, 2 heart-shaped boxes.
Yeah. You have to write your paper to get the benefits before you can submit your treatise. So the submitting a treatise action is one of the main actions that's on the main board here. You find around, it's a little book that's there. And I like that, okay, I'm going to take the cards. We'll go with the one that I have right now. Boom. So red, and purple. So the first one, you have to have a red yourself to go in there. You have to start the paper, and then you have your other ones, right? Well, say I didn't have this purple. We'll say on boards on his, you have the green and the purple. I can actually cite his work to complete my treatise. So I can say, okay, I'm going to cite your work, take your purple. He'll get a benefit from doing it, but now I'm able to finish this. I think that is heavily thematic for what this is, and it has a very inventions kind of feel to it, like Lacerda's inventions, to where you're using someone else's invention to benefit yourself, but they benefit also from you doing it. That collaboration, I would love to see more of that in games, to where it's like, hey, you did this thing, now it's going to potentially benefit me, but you're also benefiting a little bit there. So it's just absolutely magnificent. I think that's a very, very fun part of the game to get those going. But there's the restriction of you have to have your pieces available to be able to do it. So you can't just go complete a bunch of treatise. You have to actually do your research to unlock your insights.
Yeah.
Again, deep into theme for the gameplay.
Yeah, it's definitely where you have to be thinking multiple turns ahead. Because you're like, okay, well, I have the books to do this treatise, but wait, I don't have the insight. So you have to figure out, how do I get the insight? Then I got to do the treatise, make sure no one else can steal the treatise, hopefully.
Yep.
Also, it's a matter of if you, actually, let's just grab, here we go, this example. So if we use this example, if I grab these 2 cards, and I don't have them as part of a treaty, they're just active cards, I have symbols on these cards now.
Yep.
Those symbols play a part on the main board over here. So if I relinquish those by getting a treatise with those colors, now I've given up 4 symbols. So it's something you have to balance to be like, when do I get the treatise? Do I cite someone else's work and give them points because I want to save the symbols? Mm-hmm. Or do I just take it and go for it?
Again, options.
Yeah, so I love how many options are in this game.
Yeah. So then we have the last main action is treating your people, right? So you had state idea, recall idea, and treating your people. The treatise thing is just one of the actions that happens on the main board. I wanted to call out because I thought it was very unique. But so then for treating your people, this is where your resource management comes into play. So you have to have these resources to start treating these dreams, right? To start analyzing the dreams, and doing so you'll get benefits. The little green hearts will move your heart marker down, and when you get to that special golden heart, you go through catharsis. You had a breakthrough with your client, which gets rid of their grief layer. So now you get the benefits from getting rid of the grief layer, as well as benefits on the card that you finished there, as well as the benefit now on the bottom of your client. That's a lot of fun. And then if you end up curing your client, you'll get the victory points there. But as long as the grief layer is gone here, those abilities and symbols are available for you, which can come in hugely at the end game. If you just have 2 clients here and you got rid of the grief layers and they're both end game scoring, you don't have to waste the extra turns to cure them.
Yeah.
Just once you get rid of the grief layer, you're good to go. Again, I think that is a very fun, kind of creative way of doing this. The idea of like having 2 cards here really feels like you're digging deep into their unconscious mind, like going deeper into their dream until finally you pull them out of their issues.
Yeah. So overall, do I have any more points? Is there anything I don't like? I don't know if there's anything I don't like. That's gameplay related.
Yeah, nothing felt overly, so like a Teotihuacan, it felt like there was two things you had to focus on to win.
Yeah. The only thing you have to focus on is you have to get tiles, you have to unlock your special insights.
But the thing is,
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
No, it does make sense.
And that's why that doesn't bother me, because like, okay, you have to study to learn how to treat your clients better.
I think the benefit is you don't have to fill this board. So when we play tested it, we were learning. He won by a lot, and he filled his board. I didn't, and I'm like, oh man, do I really have to fill this board?
No.
And focus. We played the actual playthrough. The winner did not fill their board completely.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of balancing everything else.
And somebody else did fill their board completely.
Yeah, the person who was second only by a few points filled their board.
Yep.
But it comes into those endgame scoring points, into different markers out here, gaining the reputation, which can give you end points.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of balancing that is really well done and play tested in this game.
Yeah. Both times that we played, they didn't feel like there was one thing, again, that you had to do to win. I think the important thing, like any game like this, is you do have to pick a lane.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Primarily. Like, make sure you are going hard in one area to make sure you lock something down. And then once you lock that down, you can pivot and continue doing other things. And you'll most likely be close to finishing something off. So, like, if you get each of these markers down, you're probably 1 or 2 pieces away, at least, from finishing off your board anyway. So, yeah. No, I don't think I have anything. I don't have anything negative for gameplay. No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to Nightmare again in a moment, but I think that blended well.
I think my last call up thing I do like, one more thing,
Yeah.
is I like that when Freud gets to the end here, that the person who gets in there obviously gets 3 VP. I think that was a smart thing. Like, you helped Freud get to that spot, but also that you still finish the round and you still play one more. It's not like when it gets there, finish the round, you're done.
Yeah.
That always feels too restrictive. Like, it's like, okay, crap, I know we're at endgame now, so finish this turn. I have 1 turn left. What am I going to do?
Yeah, no, definitely well thought out.
Mm-hmm.
I did have one thing. I forgot what it was.
Our Basic and Benevolent, who played with us, did comment on the length of the turns, which doesn't bother me at all, because it's that type of game. You're going to be trying to combo, but also, as you learn to play, you're able to see what you can do more quickly. So it's just about playing it a couple times, and your turns will get quicker. But again, it's that type of game. You're going to play this if you want to play a game where you can do heavy combos and feel like, hell yeah. Did that, did this, did that. Ah. You know, and then just pull ahead, potentially.
Yeah. All right. So, gameplay, final score.
Mm-hmm.
For all of the base things. Oh, this is what I was going to call out. That I remember now. Then I'll get my score. Is we did add 1 module in here.
Just gonna keep edging you.
No. We did add. I was like modules.
Geez.
So we did add 1 module, which is the variability of these sleep actions per location.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few versions of how you can set these up. We did the ones where it's like 1 of each are the color, the other is a gray tile, so it's a randomly distributed gray tile.
Yeah, you can do all color, half gray, or all gray.
Yeah. So I do like that. So I want to call that out. That's the only module that's really presented right here.
Yeah.
But it does make it a little bit more interesting, where you can just look at the game board and be like, oh, cool, I have that. Well, now all of a sudden things change a little bit. And every game will give a little bit of that difference. So if you play again, these all change, and you got to plan out a little bit differently. That was the last thing I was going to call out.
Yeah, it doesn't really change it for like your first time playing, because you don't really know what these do anyway. But if you played a couple times, that's a good variety.
Okay, now I will give you my score. So, gameplay for the base game of Unconscious Mind, 5 out of 5.
I agree. 5 out of 5.
I really wanted this game to be a perfect. If it was, like, the storage I knew already, but I thought the other 3, but then I looked through design, I'm like, oh, there's a few little things. But still, really well done game. Lucky Duck Studios and Fantasia, you did great. It's something I would love to come back and play again and again. To be surprising, I like this more than Inventions.
Nice.
Where, like, obviously, again, putting aside the storage issue, I love Inventions. Great game, we both do. I love
like
the
the combo.
mindset. Yeah. Because there was one thing, if you watch the playthrough, my very last turn, I sat there for a minute. I found like a perfect, it was almost like a 5-part combo, which is what gave me a huge push in VP.
This is almost a combination of inventions and then the comboing of Weather Machine without the ambiguity of the comboing Weather Machine.
Oh yeah, Weather Machine has so many tables.
Weather
go back and
very loose.
Yeah, this is very specific where if you start an action, you have to finish that action before starting another action or bonus or whatever it is.
Unless you're using coffee in between, but that's another time. Yeah.
Yeah, coffee allows you interchange resources and things like that. But if I was going to do 2 actions on the board down here, I have to complete the first action in full before I can do the second. So I can't grab 2 tiles and be like, I'm going to start this tile to use it over here on this tile. You can't do any of that. You got to do one, do the other. So you've got to perfectly align it.
Yeah.
Which I think gets rid of that. Yeah, no. Gets rid of that ambiguity.
Alrighty. So now we're going to go over our individual. What's that?
I was trying to call her.
Yeah. Just let her know.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over our individual final scores and, individual, so we do over the Baldwin board game scores for each category, my lord. Then we'll go over our individual final scores and the Baldwin board game's official final score for
Unconscious Mind.
I almost said inventions.
All right. So starting things off, we have storage. Bald gave storage a 2. I gave storage a 2. Baldwin Board Games gives storage a 2. It's one of those games where there is a tray for player components, and that's it. And then there's just a box and bags. So unfortunately, it ruins the easy setup.
It ruins.
Yeah, it ruins the ability to set up easily because you have a bunch of bags you have to empty out every time. And pieces will get dinged up. Cards will get dinged up. It's annoying for longevity.
Exactly. All right, so Rulebook is next. I gave it a 5, and Board gave it a 5. It's a well-deserved 5. The player aids, the Rulebook are clear, concise, to the point, color-coded, full of examples, full of warnings and this and that. It reads quick, and I think this is one of the first games we've done in a while where we haven't played it wrong.
That's true.
Even the first playthrough.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's just it's that clear. So well-deserved 5.
Design. I gave it a 4. Ball gave it a 4.5. That's the scenario where we hold it out of 4. It does not round up. For design, we each had a little gripe about some readability, sure. On some of the cards, there were some of the symbols were a little clouded by all of the graphics.
Pun intended.
Yes, yeah.
Nice.
By some of the graphics, as well as for me, the players, how much player space it took up. So it holds at that 4 out of 5.
All right, for gameplay, I gave it a 5. Board gave it a 5. So Baldwin Board Games gives it a 5. Very well deserved, very tight, very well tested game. You can tell they went through every scenario that they could possibly run into where somebody could do something wrong because they tell you directly in the rule book to not do something that way, which is great for someone like Ford who will look at the ambiguity and be like, well, they didn't say not to do it. But tight, it doesn't feel like it's ever one-sided. Like I was at the end in our game, and at a point in the game, I caught up to everybody. And it was a close game.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you who wins. You have to go watch the playthrough. But just the fact that that could even happen was spectacular. I never felt like I was out of the game. And it's fun trying to figure out your combos, especially if you're trying to do just short combos, focusing little, or you're trying to do big brain long combos. It's something here for everybody once you get past the analysis paralysis at the beginning, which only takes, like I said, a round or 2.
Yep. So final scores for the base game. So as board, I give Unconscious Mind by Lucky Duck and Fantasia a 4 out of 5.
And I give Unconscious Mind by Fantasia and Lucky Duck Games a 4 out of 5. So that means Baldwin Board Games gives Unconscious Mind by Fantasia and Lucky Duck Games a 4 out of 5, which makes it
a Baldwin Board Game certified must play.
Woo!
So it is our just behind perfect for us in our rating system. It is exactly that. It's a must play. Rulebook is great. Gameplay is great.
Yep.
Reason it didn't get perfect mostly is storage. So if you're interested in this game, I would suggest there's one solution. Buy the deluxe version. Storage is better, and then you'll have an almost perfect game.
I mean, there's a reason why. So this morning I decided to upgrade to the deluxe, so we'll be probably giving this off to Benevolent and Basic. to have, and yeah, get in the deluxe one because that way the storage is there. They have an extra expansion in the deluxe one that's sold out right now as well. Some upgraded components, and I think it's worth the investment. It's absolutely fantastic. It's one that you can come back to over and over again. It's always it'll play the same, but it'll be different, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. All right. So now we're going to talk about the Nightmare expansion. Do you have the box? I'll put the box in front of it here.
Oh.
We'll just keep this up. Oh, we're going to talk about the boards. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
But first, yes, here is Nightmares expansion.
Jump shit on the floor.
Just the topper.
Yes, this is one of the expansions. There is another one, like I said, that's currently sold out. Unless you get the deluxe edition, it does come in the deluxe edition. But the Nightmare expansion adds in some very simple additions, but that can add a lot of strategic depth to the game. So we can actually probably even keep that up because all we need are our player board areas, really.
Yes.
And this. Marvelous. All right. So I'm going to go down to mine while you grab that. So one of the first things here is you have a different dial here, as you can see. So let me get rid of those. So this here adds in some cracks for madness. This is dual layered. So this is a deluxe version, which makes this better. This is raised as well. So these have a slight well they sit in, which keeps them from shifting around too much. But these crack areas are new. So if you're in any of these top areas and you go to shift one or the other, you have to go into one of these cracks. So the only way you can shift colors is by doing it on the bottom row down here. When you go into a crack, if you have a marker at the top here, you'll take a madness token, which will give you benefits during the game, but also could cost you points if you go too mad during the game. So I think this is a lot of fun. Add some more strategic depth in here. I didn't really use the cracks as much during my game. I was trying to see, like, okay, if you guys are using the madness and stuff and the cracks and the nightmare people, what does that do if I don't do it?
I did it for a very specific reason, which we'll talk about in a moment.
Yeah, so I think this is the first really fun improvement that it adds to the game, which links up to specifically the nightmare cards and the nightmare people as well. While you finish setting up there, I'll talk about the cats here. So, or the animals. So it also comes with some therapy animals. So each character has their own therapy animal. So this one specifically has the cat, and then just a call out. Yep, you can see design wise, which I think is amazing for this. When you put it on the edge of the board, it continues the photo perfectly. Yep. Which is absolutely magnificent. I love that little touch. But this cat here, instead of moving your whatever, so it's double sided. So you can use this side without the nightmare stuff if you're not using the madness track, or if you are using the madness track, and the other side is the nightmare side, which has some effects. So when you move your inkwell, instead of using a bright idea to limit the movement of your inkwell, you can actually say, hey, I'm going to use one of my inkwell movements to move my animal up this track. Then based on where your animal is at, you have access one time to use any ability that it's on or below it. So if I want to get rid of madness right now, I say, okay, I'm going to get rid of 2 madness, and this goes back down to the bottom, and then you rework it back up. So just adds another potential combo layer that you can just slowly move it up to prepare for later on.
Yeah, I agree. So I'll talk about it from my perspective in one sec.
I didn't offer an opinion. I just told that it worked.
That's true. I wasn't listening. No. So yeah, so that is how it works. You are right. So before I get to talking about opinions, I will just say, for storage, they did give you a nice layered tray.
Yes.
So the different wells for all the pieces. Rulebook is very consistent with the base game. So there's no really reason to go over this too much, but very consistent. All the iconography, all of the graphics, all of the boxes and everything. Great.
Yep.
For my opinions now. So
tell them, well, before you have opinions, talk about the nightmare cards first.
Oh, sure.
So added.
Yeah. So there's a few other things added in. So one is you have gray books. They're called wilds. So it can be used to substitute any color for a treaty. So for example, if I had this treaty here I wanted to complete, I have a green. If I had a gray, I can just add the gray in here. Awesome. The gray does come with the madness. So you do get a madness when you activate that gray card.
I was going to grab those and bring them over.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see you. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm about to go over there now.
Sorry.
If you collect madness, you have abilities you gain. So I have 3 madness. I now have the ability to move my people on the board backwards instead of forwards. Or anti-clockwise or
No,
counterclockwise.
don't say that shit.
I
Anti-clockwise.
said backwards. I'm like, that's just weirder than anti-clockwise.
Yeah. No, it's not. But it's in the middle.
Yeah. The benefit to doing this is you gain extra abilities. The disadvantage is multiple times throughout the game, there's going to be a check on how mad you are, and you can lose VP.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to balance gaining these, using them, and then using your pet to hopefully decrease the amount of madness you have. So that's how the madness tiles work. On top of that, you have these cards here. Perfect. You have these cards here where you are experiencing a nightmare as part of your dream cycle, and instead of
Your client is,
yes, you are in, what's the word, living vicariously. You, instead of like normally going down where you would have these green hearts, you have to complete this to be able to trigger catharsis. Instead of, okay, I have a green level 3 major, I also need a crack insight, mad insight,
Yep.
crack insight, which means it has to be in any of the 3 cracks. In this scenario here, there's no center symbol. Nope, there's no center symbol. So it means it can be anywhere, but it has to be in one of the cracks.
Yep.
So you have to balance raising up into those madness areas as well as collecting the normal resources.
Mm-hmm.
So it adds a whole nother set of thought process in.
That's like a whole nother. Actually, technically adds 2 resources in this version. Because
yes, there are darkness insights as well, which act the same. It just doesn't trigger madness if you put it into the crack areas.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'll say is one thing that's done very, very well. You do not have to do anything regarding the Nightmare expansion.
Yep.
To be able to even win the game potentially.
Which that essentially,
that was your point.
I use not the point. I'm saying that's what I did.
Oh, that is what
that's
you
what I mentioned. Is that the only thing I did with the Nightmare expansion was the research cards. That was it.
So that's just a quick call out to say this is a separate deck of cards. These are mixed in, but you don't have to take them based on how you draft the cards.
Yep.
You have different clients here that are connected to Nightmares. You don't have to take them. You have options.
Yep.
So that's just a quick call out. Is it's in game, but you don't have to focus on it. Unlike complaints I had with Teotihuacan, with Anachrony, where you really have to focus on the separate add-on boards that you're adding in for modules.
Exactly.
This you don't.
Yeah.
You can, and it's a way to do it, which I used, but you don't have to focus on, which I love.
That is really good. And then in general, for like the Nightmare expansion, it's more of a set of modules because you can, like I said, you can use the therapy pet not use any of the other Nightmare stuff.
Yeah.
If you purely just want the extra combo from the therapy pet, you can just do that. Just use the other side of the therapy pet board instead of that. If you just want to use the Nightmare module and not the pet, you can also do that. And there's some other ones in there as well. Some little ones that could make the game like a little easier, or just change it here and there, that you can also throw in for the hell of it. And the base game itself, like we said, comes with a few modules too. So the game is just filled with ways to modify this either slightly or majorly.
Yeah. So the first thing I'll call out for things I like is I'm going to talk specifically about the pet module first, and then I'll talk about the Major Nightmare after we discuss. For the pet module, I absolutely love it.
Which is hilarious.
Not the fact that it's a pet, could care less. This could be anything.
It's hilarious because at first he didn't want to play with it. And
I didn't even read the description. I just read the name and I'm like, pets, get out of here.
I was like, no, we're going to use it. That's my combo. And I fucking love this.
This is something that helped me very much with strategy in the game. Because I had things going on where I'm like, okay, I can collect resources. I know I'm almost here, but if I collect resources, I can't treat a client. Well, now I can. So I can collect the resources as my main action, use this dog up here to treat a client, boom, finish a card. So it adds that ability to plan ahead and be like, okay, boom, grab resources, use this, finish a card, get a new card. And then a few turns later, get this back up and do it again. So that was what I loved about the pet board. It allowed that extra leveling of combo.
I completely agree. I mean, that's what it's there for. And I didn't utilize it enough. So I wasn't really doing anything darkness-wise, per se. I think I used it one time, but I think it's definitely worth just slowly moving your pet up, like just slowly make that investment little by little early on, and then at least then you have it if you need anything below it. I think that's great. I really like the wild treaty research cards as well. It just gives that extra flexibility for doing the treatise and everything. And then, lastly, my favorite thing about this is the fact that it does have a very Arkham-style madness sanity thing, to where the more mad you go, the more things, more powerful you can be, but the risk is, okay, are we close to a madness check right now? If you're nowhere near a madness check, go mad. Have at it. But, yeah, there's two sides to this. One's -2, one's -1. The variant's -2.
There we go. I was like, did we do that wrong?
No.
That would have cost someone the game, maybe.
But, yeah. So completely separate. You don't need it. I recommend, though, buying it. You can add the pet one by itself with this side of the pet board in the base game, just to add in that fun flavor. I thoroughly enjoyed the Nightmare thing. Yeah. It didn't, to our points, it didn't seem unbalanced where you had to focus on it. It didn't seem overly, like, useless either. Like, if you did focus on it, it helped you. But you didn't have to do that. And to your point, like, in the middle of the game, we were all almost tied. I used it heavily. He didn't almost use it at all. Yep. The other two players used it a little bit. Yeah. And that's why I was curious about the other expansion that they have. And ultimately, again, why I chose to just go with the deluxe. Like, it deserves it. We'll definitely get this table again, either on stream or probably just for fun, off as well.
Yeah. So I would say if we were to rate this as part of it, it wouldn't really change the rating. Gameplay would still stay at a 5. Storage would go up to like a 2.1.
Because you guys bet 2.1, not even store. No, yeah, my storage would have been, probably would have been a 2.5, maybe 3, which is still in the just okay range. It might have gone because of that. But everything else is still the 5. The issues with like legibility aren't as stark because the cards are dark for Nightmare, but the issue with like the not lenticular with the see-through cards are the same. All right, everyone. Well, that was our review of Unconscious Mind. Then with statements about the Nightmares expansion by Fantasia and Lucky Duck Games. Thank you for watching us here at Ball and Board Games. I'm Ball.
I'm Board.
And we will see you on the therapy couch.